Welcome to my channel, Holly's Dreadful Colors. This is your one-stop shop to everything wool dreadlocks. Tips, tricks, methods, and techniques shared from a self-taught wool dreadlock maker. I have not taken a professional class, so I'm sure that there are methods and techniques that I am not aware of, but I have figured out a lot of them, and I want to share that with other people that are looking to make their own dreadlocks. There are lots of YouTube videos out there teaching you about wool dreadlocks. I want to share some of the things that are missed in those videos, things that I have done trial and error with, and thought it would be nice if someone explained some of these things to me back when I first started. So that is the intention of this video. Or not just this video, but all of the videos that I make going forward. You can certainly comment with any questions, and I will make more videos explaining different methods for different things. I'm just an open book of knowledge, or at least what I know about doing this process. Behind me, I'm just going to show it because it is behind me. This is my 2-tier, it's basically like a laundry cart. I keep all my dry dreads, well, not all of them because it's overflowing with dreadlocks. I keep the dry ones up here. I have the wet ones down here. I have a shower mat underneath, so it is just how I dry my dreads if I'm hanging them. Okay, so without further ado, let's talk about the most basic thing about wool dreadlocks, and it is not discussed in any videos that I've seen thus far. There are a lot of YouTube videos out there, and there are just some things that they don't discuss. So this is what I'm doing in these videos. So if there are questions that you have that you can't figure out from any of the videos on YouTube, please ask me. If I know it, I will explain it, and I will show you in a video so you have a good sense. Okay, so let's start with the very most basic. What type of wool do you get to make wool dreadlocks? Let's go. Well, that's not off to a good start, is it? Okay. Sorry about that. Okay, now, am I upside down? All right, bear with me. I don't make videos regularly. I will get better at this. Okay, let's talk about merino wool, which is the most discussed type of wool for wool dreadlocks. And you probably don't need me to tell you a lot about merino, because if you've already delved into this whole project and process, you probably already know about it. You can get it in lots of colors and combinations, and they come in braids, they come in balls, they come in plastic, they come in, you know, vacuum sealed bags. They come like this usually, and then you get to decide how long you want them to be, whether you want them to be double-ended or single-ended, and what the thickness is. I'm not going to go into that on this particular video, but let's talk about what this creates. Okay, merino wool creates straight dreadlocks, okay? They don't really it doesn't really create texture. Merino wool is the softest, one of the softest wool, the softest wool that I really felt, okay? And it felts really well. So it's great for felting wool dreadlocks, all right? It does not create texture. This was one that I attempted to create texture with. It just doesn't really do it for me. It doesn't even look that nice. So yeah, it's really not meant for textured dreadlocks, okay? This is a straight dreadlock. This is an unfinished straight dreadlock. I can pull this apart if I want to. This just one isn't fully done. Just important, just an important little tidbit that I'm throwing in this video. This is a fully done dreadlock. You will not be able to pull this apart. It is firm to the touch. Yeah, this is not going anywhere. This is what you want it to look like. And like I said, it is nice and straight. When you wear it, over time, you will get a little bit of texture. It'll get maybe a little bit more bubbly or bumpy, but otherwise it mostly keeps this particular shape, okay? Now, let's move forward to the stuff that you don't already know about. This is called Corriedale wool, and it is a bit more textured. This still felts really well, pretty much like merino. It's not quite as soft as merino, but it does not bother me. It's not itchy or anything like that. And it creates a more wavy textured dreadlock. let me show you what I'm talking about. After a particular process, it creates, yes, it does create this. This is the right one. You can see that it's kind of bumpy, wavy. Here's another one. Bumpy, wavy. It's not coming out. It's a little bit thicker. These ones are a little bit thicker than my merino ones. That's because I was playing with it. These are my demonstration ones. But even though it's thicker, it's not really pulling apart, okay? This is what that creates. You can also get carded wool. I don't have a full thing to show you, but this is carded wool right here. This is really soft. You can squish this. The fibers pull apart very easily. You can look up what carded wool is. This is Corriedale. Although it's a little tricky to work with because you want to make sure you don't pull it and you process it right. It felt so nice. It creates one of my favorite textures, which is this one. It almost kind of has a natural, bumpy, kind of matted dreadlock look. This is actually my favorite kind of texture, and I will do a video showing how I did this. This also can create, if you so want to, either one, the carded or the combed Corriedale will create a straight dreadlock. Again, overwearing it, you might get a little bit more bumpy as it kind of seals in a bit more or tightens, but it does create a straight one if you want. Okay, going forward, moving right along. Let's talk about the ones that you don't hear about, okay? There are naturally curly wool, or there is naturally curly wool. That is the kind of wool you want if you want to make kinky curly dreadlocks that you probably see if you ever look up wool dreadlocks on Etsy or anywhere else, or any videos when you can't figure out how they did it. It is a process part. There is a process to it, but not as complicated as you think, and it is a naturally curly wool that they use. The three that I currently have right now is Icelandic, Teesewater, and Wensleydale. These all naturally curl as you are processing them, and then if anything, after they dry, they will kink up and be curly. No one explains this to you. The downside to having these is that they don't really come in lots of colors. They come undyed. So they might be like brownish, they might have a mix of gray or some sort, and they also have it in white or off-white. So if you do want to do these kinds of dreadlocks, you might want to look into dyeing them and figuring out how to do that. The last thing that I want to show you is locks, okay? These are Wensleydale locks. Let me pull them out real quick so you can kind of see. These are sold. These are good for like doll hair. Obviously, that's not, you probably wouldn't use that for dreadlocks. But these are good for creating Luxe Ends. So a lot of times they attach kind of this wavy, more hair-like look on the bottom of a dread. And this is one of the types of textures and lock. They're called locks that you would use for that. There's also Mohair. There's also Teesewater locks. I don't have any of those right now, but there is Mohair locks. These ones are a bit different, but you can still make them work. And in this case, you would probably brush them out to some degree to get them to lock. And I will do a video on how to attach wool locks as we move forward. That's not what this particular video was for. Oh, let me show you the kink. I forgot to mention this. This is the naturally occurring kinky curly wool. This is going to stay this way. This, when you put it on and you get it wet, it will go back to this. And that's really good to know because some people have to do all sorts of things to make their locks curly, and you don't need to go through all that effort if you have the right kind of wool. Okay, I hope that this was helpful in the beginning of your dreadlock process or in the middle of the dreadlock process as you're trying to figure out why you can't get your dreadlocks to look the way you want them to look. You do not need to put them in the dryer. You do not need to braid them together. You can if you want. If you have merino, you will have to braid them together because it's not going to naturally curl on its own. Those are going to create straight ones, okay? So, but if you are attempting to make kind of kinky curly locks, you're going to want to get the right kind of wool. So I hope this is really helpful for anyone that's, like I said, starting their journey or already mid-journey trying to figure out how to make it work. Again, ask me questions. I will make videos. I am here with a wealth of knowledge that I don't mind sharing. And if I do not know the answer, I will do the best to try it out and find the answer for you. All right, thanks for watching my video, and I'll be back soon.